Hello, I'm Ian Brunt. I'm the founder of Antiques.co.uk, and I'm here today with one of the leading silver experts here in the Silver Vaults in London, Stephen. Stephen, good morning.
Good morning.
Now tell me, why and how did you get started into the silver business?
Well, our particular business is a family-run affair. Our family actually started in silver in the 1930s. My great uncle had a shop in Bond Street originally, and unfortunately he died very young, and my father, who worked for him, decided that the future was probably in the silver vaults, where the security is fantastic, and we have fellow dealers here as well, and amongst us all, probably the largest selection of silver in the world, and we have people from all over the world as well who buy from us and come to the silver vaults. I joined from school at the mere age of 17 and been here ever since.
We won't ask you how long that is, but we've just been discussing the silver vaults, and we sort of classified it as an 18th century shopping mall. I mean, it's amazing how much and how beautiful the objects are here. It would take weeks and months to go through each object.
It is an amazing building. I mean, I take it for granted now, but quite frankly, when you think about it, just the vast amount of silver down here, and it's not only silver, there's silver plate, there's gold items of jewellery, there's antique watches, but anything valuable, if it's not down here, it doesn't exist. And I've seen some amazing items. I once saw one of the dealers bringing in sections a 4-poster silver bed, which was probably the most fantastic piece I've ever seen.
I don't fancy sleeping in that. Now tell me, what I find really fascinating about all the antiques I've ever worked on is, okay, the design is interesting and how it was created, but is there anything in particular that you like that was created for somebody special or by somebody special?
Well, we are buying all the time, and obviously many pieces come in which I admire greatly, but what sticks out at the moment of our stock is one piece which I have here, which we bought recently, which is a very fine George III 18th century silver beer tankard. Now, in itself it's nothing unusual, but it was made by one of the few lady silversmiths, Hester Bateman. Now, she was an amazing woman. Her husband died, who was a silversmith, and she took over his business and was a very fine silversmith herself. But not only that, she actually brought her children up and taught them how to manufacture silver, and I believe her grandchildren and her daughter-in-law. So it's a great dynasty, and for a lady to actually run a business in the 18th century was a remarkable feat. So this was made by her, Hester Bateman, and it has a certain amount of refinements that you don't see, funnily enough, by a man silversmith. It's slightly smaller in size, it's slightly more delicate, but it still has that quality. If you look inside, you can actually see the hammer marks of how she's made it.
I love those reflections of sort of the dappledness of the interior.
Yeah, it's a very attractive feature actually, of handmade 18th century silver.
But that's quite an astonishing that the lady, I don't mean to be sort of rude, was a successful business person in the 18th century.
I think it's remarkable.
Yeah, and it's still going on.
Very much so, very much so. You do get lady silversmiths all the time now, and if you like, she sort of led the way. But she must have been a remarkable woman to bring up a family on her own and run a business successfully. There are many collectors for her work, understandably, and I believe at one time, there may still be one, there was a Hester Bateman club in America, and so there's a very big following for her work.
Now Stephen, the big question is, let's say I really am an amateur at this and I wanted to start collecting silver.
Yeah.
Now where on earth would I start? I mean, I could buy a candlestick or a George III mug, or what would you recommend to begin with?
Well, I would recommend, first and foremost, buying something you like. Don't buy something because you think it might earn a profit in the future. Buy something you like, and hopefully something you'll use. And secondly, buy the best you can afford. You know, that you can buy an antique for £50 or less. Buy the best you can afford. You can never ever go wrong. Buy quality, you'll never go wrong. If you buy a bad piece that's been repaired, and I don't think you'll find that in silver vaults, but if you buy that and it's cheap, it will always be cheap and it will always have been repaired.
We've always known that the silver market was a very secure and stable market, so I think that advice really is the key point. I mean, quality and what you like, rather than having to spend your life looking at some ugly pot that's been beaten up.
Sure.
And are there any sort of really definitive things like the hallmarks or anything that's obvious to you but wouldn't be obvious to me when I first...
I think all the things that are obvious to the layman, such as good hallmarks, no repair marks, a good colour, we call it patina, antique silver, all those categories are very important. But first and foremost, I think you've got to buy from someone you're comfortable with, who you trust their judgment, and maybe build up a relationship with that dealer. And we do pride ourselves in silver vaults having a lot of knowledge. Most of the businesses here are, you know, through generations, and we do have that knowledge, which I think is very important.
Well, I've been very honoured and comfortable to chat with you as one of the leading experts here in London in the silver vaults, and I hope that everybody will go online and look at some of Stephen's magnificent items here and learn from one of our experts about the fascinating subject of silver. Thank you very much.
Thank you.